So there's something that you've been wanting to do for the longest time now, and you haven't gotten around to doing it yet. So today we're going to be talking about how to get started and actually follow through with the things that you've always wanted to do. For me, the one thing that I've always wanted to do is start a YouTube channel. And I've always wanted to do that from the 8th grade, since I started high school. And, getting phones and figuring out the whole online space. And then I never actually did get to do it until, now. And I'm now in university in my 2nd year. So that's a really long time. That's like 7-8 years maybe of not getting started. So in order for other people not to go through the same thing I did, and if you actually want to get started with doing something, this is somewhat of a guide to getting started. So let's talk about it. This is how people think getting started looks like. So let's continue with the YouTube example that I've been talking about, since it's something that is familiar to me. So this is how people think getting started looks like. This is the time spent doing the thing, and then this is like your experience getting better at the thing. So people usually think it's you start here and then you finish. Every time you do something, you're going to get better and better and better. But then in reality, this is how getting started actually looks like. So this is the time spent doing the thing, and then the experience you have doing the thing. So you get started here. Let's say I'm a normal person. I live a normal life, and then I start doing YouTube. I start trying to make videos and edit them and post, and then I find out that it's harder than it actually is. Like right now, this is not easy. So it's actually hard, and then I feel like I'm pretty competent at making videos and maybe even making a script and the whole editing process, but then reality sets in and I'm worse than I thought I was in the beginning. Then I actually start getting good at the thing, and I'm like, oh, okay, I think I get this. And then after some time I realize, oh my gosh, this is actually hard, blah blah blah. Like I'm trying to improve and then I'm not improving, and then eventually we're at the finish line and I'm actually good at the thing that I was once absolutely terrible at, but now I'm good at it. So this is how the journey actually looks like to getting good at something. So these are the things that usually get in the way of getting started and following through with something, and then you end up procrastinating on it for weeks, months, and maybe even years. So the first thing that gets in the way is what people are going to think about you. So continuing with the whole YouTube example, I was afraid of how I was going to look on camera, how people are going to judge me once I start making YouTube videos. And I was basically comparing myself to other YouTube channels and other YouTube creators, and I felt like I wasn't as good as they were, and I felt like people are going to judge me with that in mind, right? So that's the first one. What people are going to think about me or you whenever you start to do something new. Not having the necessary equipment to start. So back to the YouTube example, I never started making any videos because I thought I needed a fancy camera or an iPhone, at least a tripod stand, ring light or lighting for me to light up my setup, have these cool YouTube setups basically. But then those things cost money, and that's something that I never had. Like I'm a student, I'm not doing any work. Where exactly am I going to get the money to start? So I kept putting it off and telling myself I'm going to start when I have the money, I'm going to start when I have the equipment. But then as time went on and I actually did have the money to get these things, I never started for years. because I've been having a few tripod stands here and there, and then I would think, nah, this is not good enough. I need one of those expensive ones, or I would have it and then I would feel lazy and be like, nah. But because I have tried doing these, I have tried like making videos in the past, but then I never actually went through with it, thinking you're not good enough. So back to the whole equipment thing. Whenever I did have the equipment and I did try to make a video, I'd always think, nah, this is trash. This video isn't good enough. I can't post it. People are going to laugh at me, which is going back to the first point, caring about what other people think about you. So I'd always think that they're not good enough, and I'm rambling, and I'm not speaking well. People are not going to watch my videos because they're not good enough. So that's another thing that would stop someone from getting started. These are like the many reasons as to why people don't get started and don't follow through. But the main reason as to why people don't follow through and don't actually get started on things that they genuinely want to try is because of their mindset. Yeah. This is the main reason why people don't get started, because of their mindset. If something does not defy the laws of physics or, science or whatever you'd like to call it, you could probably find a way to do it. So all of these reasons are irrelevant. Like what people would think about you, not having the equipment, not thinking you're good enough. All these reasons are simply your mind playing tricks on you. None of these things can actually stop you from getting started and following through. The whole idea of what would people think about me, or I don't have the equipment to do this and that, I'm not good enough. First of all, of course you're not good enough. You've never done the thing before. In order to get good, you need to first fail and then figure things out along the lines and progress. If someone was to tell you that if you could fail 3 times, right? If you could fail 3 times and on the 4th try, you are going to succeed. Let's say me making these YouTube videos. If someone was to say, okay, if you make 3 videos and then on your 4th video, you're going to do it well and everybody's going to watch your videos and it's going to go viral, blah, 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 blah. Obviously, I was going to keep trying until I reach that 4th try. If someone was to tell you, if you fail at 3 businesses and then on your 4th try, you're going to figure it out and it's all going to click and you're going to become a millionaire, obviously, you're going to do it. So instead of thinking that, oh my gosh, if I fail, people are going to think of me in a certain way, people are going to laugh at me. First of all, you actually trying puts you ahead of so many people, because majority of people don't want to try. Majority of people don't want to look incompetent or look like they have no idea what they're doing. People want to feel like they've got things figured out. And that is actually what stops people from improving. You shouldn't even have to care about what other people think about you, because it is your life. They are your experiences. At the end of the day, when you're on your deathbed or, you're just done with life and you're settled and you're looking back at all the experiences that you had, you're not going to be thinking about all these other people and what they thought. All you'll be thinking about is your own life experiences, whether you have any regrets or whether you lived a fulfilling life. So you thinking about what other people have to say about what you're doing isn't a relevant enough argument. So whenever you're faced with the idea of what are people going to think about me, blah, 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 stop and just think about you. Be selfish for a change. You're always thinking about what other people are going to say, what other people are going to think, whether they're going to be laughed at. think about you for a change. How do you feel about it? Would you be happy if you tried this out and it was going to work out? When you think about this one, not having the necessary equipment to start, that's another relevant argument, because you're not going to have everything. If you keep chasing for the next best thing, if you keep chasing for the best equipment or the best thing to do this and that, you're never going to get started, because it's not about what you have, it's about the skill set you have to use the things that you have, right? The things that are at your disposal, how well can you use those things? If you are to give a fancy camera with the most expensive camera you can find with the best settings and, you know, best cinematography, if you were handed that in this moment at this time, let's say if you wanted to create a YouTube channel like I've always wanted to do, I can assure you, if someone was to hand me that camera, I would have no idea how to work the thing, how to set it up, how to, yeah, I would probably still speak in a very weird way, because I'm not used to speaking in front of the camera, and I have no idea how to just let loose and let my personality show. So it's all about putting in the reps and getting better, and then eventually the things that you want to improve will come later down in the line. You can only get things to improve what you already have. So if your starting point is at a low level where you have no idea of what you're doing and you have no knowledge of how to do things in a proper way, you having all the equipment isn't going to make you any better of a creator or any better of whatever you want to do. Let's say if you have a business idea and you want to grow your business and become a millionaire, if you have no idea how things work in a business, someone giving you the capital to go ahead and build an empire isn't going to do much for you, because you have no idea what you're doing. So figure things out, figure how you're, like, learn the necessary things needed to progress, and eventually the things that you need will come later, the things that will improve your business, because you can't start from 0 and go to 100 in a matter of seconds. You have to build off what you already have. So if you don't have anything, you having all the equipment or the money or the whatever it is you think you want that you really don't need, it's not going to do anything for you. So that's something to keep in mind. And then the last point, you thinking you're not good enough. For as long as you can improve, that's all you need. As long as you can get better. That's why I have it written on my wall here. If you can improve, you can win. If you are in a situation where you have nothing and you can put one foot in front of the other every day, then you can definitely win. It doesn't matter where you began. All that matters is where you're going. Like a quote that a friend gave me when I was struggling with this whole trying to make a video thing is, it doesn't matter where your starting line is, what matters is your finish line, how you're going to go about it from here on out. So that's something that you should keep in mind. It doesn't matter what you have now or how good enough you think you are, you're always going to improve. For as long as you can do one thing better each and every time, you're going to improve. And that's the whole point of it. No one was born a natural at everything in the world. Like, you weren't just born and you're a footballer, you weren't just a content creator, a businessman. At some point you were nothing. At some point you were just a child who was brought in this earth, and you are told to go to school, you had friends, and then eventually you started trying things out and you progressed, you became better. Get used to being bad at something. Get used to stumbling. It's okay to not be good at something in the first place, because if you only do something because you are going to be good at it, then you probably won't be doing a lot of things. You probably stick with the things that you already do, and you won't live a fulfilling life. You won't expand, you won't grow. In order for you to grow, you need to be put in uncomfortable situations, because eventually you're going to adapt, you're going to figure things out, and things will start to make sense. But you can't be comfortable all the time. So like I said, the main thing that's stopping you is your mindset, because on each and every one of these points, and probably all the other excuses that you can think about, the only thing stopping you is you. You need to stop stopping you. Whenever you're faced with that situation where you have a sentence saying, I can't, I am not good enough, replace that with, my mind thinks I am not good enough. My mind thinks I can't do this. And when you're faced with such a situation where you mentally think you can't do something, that's just a barrier. That's a boundary that you've set for yourself. And the good news is you can step out of it. You can get out of that box that you've enclosed yourself in. You can simply just choose to say, okay, today I'm not going to care what other people think. I'm not going to care whether I don't have the necessary things available with me right now. I don't care if I'm not good enough, and do the thing. One piece of advice I would give you is get used to doing the things that are not good enough. Because if you stack those up, if you keep doing things that aren't good enough, eventually you'll be the best that you've ever been. So that's one piece of advice that I hope you get. If you don't get anything else from this video, it's that one thing that you should walk away with. Get used to doing the things that are not good enough, because if you keep thinking, I will only do this I will only do this later on when I'm better at it, I will only do this, I will only show people I can do this when I figure things out, you end up never doing anything. You end up not following through with anything that you personally want to do. You are stopping yourself from doing the things that you actually want to do. And you choosing not to do anything is a choice in itself. You are choosing not to progress. You are choosing not to live a different life. You are choosing to be mediocre and to let your life pass away and simply just be. And I don't know about you, but that's something that I will not subject myself to. I know that life can be so much better if I just put myself out there. If I choose to be better, if I choose to be horrible at something for a little while and eventually progress. So that's something that you should try out for yourself. If you've been living in the sidelines for as long as you can remember, this is a sign for you to step out of your comfort zone, for you to suck at something for a little while and then be faced with greater opportunities later down the line. Doesn't matter where you're starting from. What matters is where you're going. So make it a mental note to do the things that you're not good at until eventually you're decent. You're not bad. That's what you should be striving for. And I hope, if there's something that you've always wanted to do, if there's something that you've been stopping yourself from doing, if you've been giving yourself excuses like, I'm not good enough, or what will people think about me, or I don't have the time, or I'm too tired, for once, be selfish. Try it out for as much as you can until you improve. Don't let the idea of, this is horrible, I'm bad at it, this is hard, don't let that idea stop you, because that's just your own mind trying to convince you to stay stagnant. That's your own mind trying to convince you not to progress, not to go forward, not to have a better life than you could have had if you just sat around and did nothing. So I wish you all the best. I'm rooting for you.